For USCFootball.com, Connor Morrissette and Chris Trevino are back on campus after covering USC's 5th fall camp practice of 2025. Just like on Friday, Chris, this one was open, but we can only speak about the media viewing period and then what we heard after Luke Heward, the quarterback's coach, was the only guy to speak today. But this is Instant Analysis. Chris, as always, great to be with you.
Great to be with you. Rocking the red, rocking the blue, clashing, but we look great right now.
Yes, nice sunny day, as you can see. A few important players were limited today, Chris, but nothing major from what we anticipate, and everyone was present and accounted for today. Even DJ Wingfield is out of practice, but with in street clothes because he can't practice right now. So some guys didn't go through everything today, but we don't expect anything serious.
Yeah, bumps and bruises early in fall camp. Just had the pads come on for the first time last week. Probably, gearing up. We thought it'd be a full pads practice today. We have to kind of check the schedule of when they can actually get into full pads, but nothing too serious. And yeah, I expect everyone to be fine moving forward. But again, just early in fall camp.
Lincoln Riley mentioned Jacoby Lane having an injury at the beginning of camp, so we can talk about him. He's still limited today, but he's doing his best coaching impression, coaching up those wide receivers. He likes those guys not to fade on their routes. He's very, very specific with what he's looking for. A coach in waiting after his pro career wraps up.
Certainly has the voice and the energy and the spitfire to be a coach, getting on guys. So yeah, definitely saw more of Coach Lane out there. But I know the coaches and USC fans want to hear more about Coach or Jacoby Lane, the player, not the coach. He'll be back out there soon.
Absolutely. So during the viewing period today, Lincoln Riley continues to pay very close attention to the kick and punt returners. Today specifically, he was really zoned in on the punt returners. So that's Mekhi Lemon, James Johnson, and Zach Williams. That was the group today. Lemon still looks the most natural out of that group. I thought Zach Williams had a good practice. James Johnson, he's still learning a little bit. Lincoln Riley brought him over and made a coaching point to him. But I think that position, I don't want to say it's wide open because Lemon is clearly that top guy right now, but they're working through what the best case for them is, because we all know if you put a star receiver back there's an injury risk. But you seem to think right now, Chris, it's Lemon's job. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, and if there's playing a game this weekend, it just feels like Lemon is the most confident back there. I feel like if push came to shove and needed someone else, I think the freshman James Johnson would actually kind of get the knock there to go in. That's just off vibes, just like off confidence. I know we saw James Johnson take a lot of punts in the spring when he was here and rolled early, so that's a great sign for him in terms of developing as a punt returner. But they didn't have anyone else, and it was just go time. I think they would call to action Mekhi Lemon, and I think that would go the same for kick returning as well. He's obviously a very good kick returner, one of the best in the Big Ten. I expect him to at least have one of those duties full time for the whole season, and I would think they would want to give him a rest at some point and have someone develop to take over, punt preferably.
You don't think Zach Williams is in that mix? Because I said last week that I thought he might be the guy. I still feel like he has a really good shot.
Yeah, I do as well, and I'm not jumping on your comments about that. I think he's very much I think he's very much in the mix. But if I'm just going pure off vibes, just my feeling right now. I think it'd be Lemon Johnson, and then obviously Zacharias is still moving in and trying to battle the freshman there for whatever the backup role would be.
He is new to that. He did it in high school, Zach Williams at Sarah, but I don't think he returned anything at Utah last season. But I think he's looking pretty good, and if they don't want Lemon to be the guy, James Johnson, he's been a little up and down the past couple practices at that punt return spot, but I really like his potential, and I could see him being the returner in the future.
When you got Lincoln Riley watching the last two practices, a lot of pressure watching from the big man. I actually thought Lincoln was a graduate assistant because he was watching from the end zone, which I don't think he's ever done before, because he's watching on the other side on a Friday, and today he was in the end zone. I was like, who's this guy? I was like, oh, it's Lincoln Riley. Yeah, he was getting up close and personal today with the returners, and I know he takes special interest in that, so we're going to have to ask him about that and what he's seeing from that position group next time we get to talk with him.
Yeah, that's a very logical question for him today. As I said, we didn't hear from him. We heard from Luke Heward. So a couple other observations. Profett Brown, who's been with the Nickels at the beginning of practice, was with the cornerbacks today. That's sort of been the plan with him all along. He's going to do both, and he just looks natural wherever they put him. I continue to think that he's going to have a role this year. It's probably going to be more at nickel, but they seem confident with him at cornerback as well. He's a spring camp riser, if you will. I think he's having a good camp.
Yeah, definitely somebody, to plug our most important. We feel like is going to get a bump in our most important or a re-rank after fall camp. But, it echoes the plan that Dan Lynn talked about at that media day a couple weeks ago where they want guys to be training up two positions, at least be able to learn two positions. And for the corners, that's nickel and outside. So that just fits in the mold of what, Dan Lynn was saying. Profett Brown, outside, nickel. We expect him to be the nickel starter, but again, a guy who can give you versatility at multiple different positions, which is always obviously something Danton Lynn loves and looks for.
Kamari Ramsey could play some nickel as well, and then that leaves three other guys who were just repping at nickel today. It was Alex Graham, Kevin Longstreet, and then James Johnson. So that looks like the nickel depth chart right there. We heard from Luke Heward after practice. He said Jaden Mava is way more confident this year than he was a year ago. He commands the huddle much better. He's asking more questions in the film room, which to Heward means that he's understanding the concepts more. He's just fitting in a lot better. And last offseason, it had to be pretty hard. I remember he was very hard on himself. He felt like he didn't have a very good spring, and then he improved during fall camp but still lost the job to Miller Moss. It has to be freeing and reassuring when you're that number one starter heading into the season. And by everything we've seen, it's very safe to say he's the QB1. No one is pushing him for that job. It's going to be Jaden Mava.
Yeah, that's a good point of just like coming in last season, knowing what Miller Moss did in that Holiday Bowl performance. It was like, this is his team, full steam ahead. He has all the momentum, and then Jaden's coming in, has his own momentum coming from UNLV, but just new environment, new surroundings, new offense, has to learn a bunch of new stuff. And then here he is, trying to get that confidence, get some confidence at the end. Looks like a different person in terms of his vocal leadership this in camps and the camps that we've seen. He's going around, looks more extroverted. I believe that was how it was phrased to Luke Heward. But going around in the huddle, getting guys hype, calling out against the defense, chirping. It's just a different player in terms of his confidence and his mentality. Obviously, the physical ability is still there, growing there, but we're just seeing a true guy who's the keys to the offense and the team have been given to him in Jaden Mava.
Husan Longstreet was another guy we heard about today from Luke Heward. We continue to feel like he's going to be the backup quarterback. Heward really likes what he's seen from Longstreet so far. The fact that he comes in, he's disciplined, he's having fun. He's really embracing the role of being a college quarterback. And I think Heward feels pretty good about his room. Sam Heward as well, his nephew, is also in there, and Heward kept saying today, we're going to need everyone. We need everyone. The roles of all three quarterbacks are going to be really important, but Longstreet continues to stand out as that number two guy to us.
Yeah, and that's just based off, like, watching the on-air drills.
Yeah.
You have QBs on either side throwing in opposite directions, and it's always been, since the middle of spring, it's been Jaden and Husan Longstreet next to him, and that's been the kind of pairing we've seen in those drills, and that kind of tips the hat, I guess, into what they're seeing with number 4 and number 14. So we feel pretty confidently. The freshman is locking up that role here in our fall camp. Obviously, have to finish it out, but yeah, they got a pretty decent room with Jaden and Husan, and then Sam Heward, who has experience. So it's not the flashiest group, but there's a lot of potential in that room with the athleticism and the experience that they have, top to bottom. So I'm excited to see what that room could throw together, and obviously a lot of people are going to be excited to see Longstreet get some first action. We'll see how much action he gets in those first two games against those, which should be, games that USC gets some of their backups in.
Yep, Missouri State and Georgia Southern. It will be interesting to see how the staff views a redshirt for Longstreet. I think in an ideal world, if he's not the starting quarterback, you'd want to use that redshirt, but hopefully there's no injury. If there is, that could change the equation. And if USC's in some blowouts early in the year, how much do you want to put him out there? Because he only has the 4 games, and if USC plays in a bowl game, he could get that 5th game if he's in that situation. So I don't think that's something we really need to be concerned about right now. But in an ideal world, do you agree with me, Chris? The plan, I imagine, would be to redshirt him.
Yeah, I would assume the plan is to redshirt him, but you never know. It's going to have to take it week by week. I assume they're going to want to get him some action those first 2 games. Yeah. Get as much as you can and then see where it falls moving forward. If you're blowing out a Northwestern and he has 2 games left, get him in Northwestern. Obviously he'll have the bowl game, whatever happens. That doesn't count against his red shirt, so he can play in that game. But the first 2 games, and then wherever those next 2 games come, I think they want to try to get him in 4 games, but they're going to be cautious. And if everything goes to plan, they would love to probably redshirt him as the backup. But again, you never know. Always one snap away.
Don't want to cut you short if you have anything else to add. That's it for my observation. Sounds like that's good with you as well.
It's good with me.
USC not ranked in the coaches poll that came out today, but they did receive some votes. That seems to be the sentiment nationally, that they have a point to prove this year before people buy into them. So I think we're a little bit higher on them than the national media, which you can take that for what it's worth, but the conversation remains the same. They got to win on the road, and they got to win the games that they should win, which hasn't always been the case these last couple of years. So we'll see what happens as the year goes on, but this is Instant Analysis after USC's 5th practice of fall camp. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday with another episode. We'll see you then.